All right, everybody, welcome back to the showcast. It is time we move on to our interview for the week. Now, I know I said last week that there was a chance we wouldn't have anybody this week. However, this gentleman was awesome enough to come on and spend some time with us. He's guest starred in a ton of different shows. He's had some reoccurring roles on shows such as Ponderosa, The Mentalist. He's even been in some great films like 1408 and the 2011 remake of the movie Straw Dogs. But now you can see him every week on the hit Fox show Gotham. Please welcome Mr. Drew Powell. Drew, how you doing?
Hey guys, pleasure to be here.
No problem. Glad to have you on. Are you calling from LA right now? Are you calling from East Coast, West Coast?
That's right. I'm from LA. You shoot the show in New York, but I'm still based out of LA. So I know the United flight attendants by name after the season. My frequent flyer miles have been shot right through the roof. But yeah, I'm sitting here sweating as usual here in Southern California.
That's a long flight, New York to LA.
It sure is. Yeah, it sure is. I catch up on a lot of movies and TV shows that way. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I just flew back from Florida last week, and that's like 2 hours. And at that point, I'm ready to get off. I can't imagine that's like 5 or 6 hours.
I know, man. I know. And I used to do connect because I like to fly out of the smaller airport, Burbank, But truthfully, I discovered that it's better just to bite the bullet, get on a plane, do what you got to do for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then get off and not have to mess around in the middle. So I've got it down to a science now, but it's worth it for this show, man. And look, let's be honest. If you're doing a show called Gotham, you got to shoot it in New York.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How many times during the course of the season do you make that trip?
You know, I did. I think something like 14 or 15 out of the 22 episodes, so it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But, look, when I worked on The Mentalist, I did several episodes of The Mentalist. I was part of the Red John storyline. And, that's where I kind of met and fell in love with Bruno Heller. I mean, the guy is, from all, Gotham and Mentalist, but also like Rome. And the dude is just as smart as they come and just a lot of, really great to work for. And when we were talking about Gotham and when I was lucky enough to kind of to land this role, he told me, he said, look, Butch is a character that's, people are gonna underestimate this character till it's too late. And, he's gonna be a slow burn character, but hang in there and I think you'll be real pleased with how this character pays off. And he's absolutely right. It's been so much fun to play this guy. And especially leading up to the season finale, which is next Monday, it's going to be, it's my favorite episode of the season. It's definitely a big payoff for my character, and it's been fun to kind of follow that arc. So makes those plane rides, go by real quick when you're loving your job.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, Gotham definitely isn't like a standard, it's definitely not your standard Batman show. It's definitely different.
Right.
It's the history of all these characters, it's the side of these characters you've never really heard of before. Growing up and even now in childhood, especially now that we know you're making all these plane flights, were you a fan of the Batman comics or even any other comics for that matter?
Yeah, I was more of a fan of like watching cartoons and stuff. I didn't necessarily have many comics myself, like actual comic books. But I certainly, I remember watching the campy TV show, which was, wonderful for a 7-year-old kid to watch Batman and Robin walking around with a big bomb with a big fuse. Like, I can't throw it there. There's a bunch of nuns. Oh, I can't throw it there. There's a bunch of kids playing in which feels like a totally different animal, by the way, to everything that's come since then with the Batman saga. But then, of course, I was of the era of, Michael Keaton, that first Tim Burton Batman and the movies, and then kind of, so that was what my connection to Batman really, although, I mean, come on, as a kid, growing up in rural Indiana, all the superheroes were, at one point or another, we all played those superheroes. So, being in the Batman world, it's been so much fun. And I think you're right. It's a unique look at the Batman world. And what I've told people is, here's the thing. Superheroes are too big for television. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're going to have, like, the Batman. So even if it was, like, HBO or Showtime, it's too small. It can't contain the breadth of what it is to be a superhero. In my opinion, maybe somebody will figure out how to get it done. But what in my humble opinion is so good about Gotham is it takes on the world around that superhero, and Batman is the perfect one for that because Batman's still a man.
Yeah.
Even though Gotham is a unique world, he doesn't have X-ray vision, and he can't leap tall buildings in a single bound. I mean, he needs a gadget to do that. So to me, this is a great way to access it, because I've always been fascinated with the idea of Gotham City, right? I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's something mysterious and cool about that. And so to dive into that world, there's so many times this season where I've been like, oh man, this feels like Gotham. I want to appear in Brooklyn, and I'm in front of this, my beautiful old 78 Lincoln Continental, and there's, these girls are fighting in front of me in a warehouse, and it's like, this feels like something to a comic book, and you don't get too many opportunities for that kind of fun, even in this great profession, that I'm in. So I've really enjoyed every second of it. This year.
It's funny too when you mentioned the old Adam West and Burt Ward Batman television shows. You mentioned one particular scene with the bomb over his head, where he goes to one side of the dock and there's the ducks and then there's Boy Scouts, and it makes me laugh because the one line in that scene is, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. And we quote that all the time at my day job, and I absolutely love it. So
and it's true on so many levels. I think that's from the movie, isn't it? The movie that they did.
Yeah, that's from the Batman the movie.
Yeah, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
I love that. I may have to start using that too. I might have to steal that.
If you can somehow find a way to work it into Gotham, we'll know.
That in there.
We'll know that we'll somehow have made an impression on you when you got it done.
That's awesome. All right, that's gonna be my mission for season 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, and obviously with the show, I mean, there's the main characters from the comics that everybody knows, but like Jada Pinkett Smith's character Fish, your character was created just for this show, Gotham. When you found that out, were you excited about that part of it, that you kind of got to, put a new character into this classic, comic book, or were you disappointed that you didn't get to play one of the classic characters?
That's a good question. It's mostly excited. I mean, look, as I said to somebody else today, I mean, there is a part of me that's, if you're the Penguin or the Riddler, there's a certain amount of job security. Even though Bruno says nobody's safe, I mean, you got to believe that if he kills the Penguin, there's going to be rioting in the streets among Batman fans. So there is some definite job security, which every actor covets. However, I mean, mostly it's great because you do get to, I get to create this guy. And so, God willing, and I'm knocking on as much wood as I can find here, if Butch gets to stick around for a while and leaves an impression, that's something that I got to help create with Bruno and the writers and Danny Cannon and all the guys that make the show work. And that is, you don't get to do that very often either. And it's been really fun to work with Jada. She and I have great chemistry on screen and off. We just enjoy being around each other, which is funny because you couldn't get two more opposite people in a lot of ways. But it's been fun for us to kind of create our own world, because so much of the first half of the season was the two of us, in that bar,
right,
doing crazy stuff and plotting schemes, and me going off to do our dirty work, and that's been a lot of fun. So it's been fun and it's been really gratifying that the fans have embraced it, because I know it can be tough. Bringing in a new character when you're so used to the old ones. But I think people have been really gracious in letting us kind of into the world, if you will.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you're a little old to play Bruce Wayne, so I mean, you kind of...
Exactly. That's right. I know, exactly. I'll take what I can get, man.
Yeah. I mean, you look back at your career, you've done a lot of guest roles in your career. But it seems like you had a little bit of luck in the beginning of your career, in that one of your very first roles was actually a reoccurring role, and that was on Malcolm in the Middle. You did, I think, like 11 episodes of Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people, when they're just getting started, they get those guest roles, and that's pretty much all they get for a while. But you were pretty lucky to get that, like a reoccurring role for a while in one of your first roles.
That's right, I was, and that's the show that got me my SAG card. That was my first real gig, and the story of how I got that is kind of funny. It was one of my early auditions. I'd had a few auditions, and maybe I might have done a commercial before that, but I actually think I think this was the first one because this is what got me in the union. So the role was I was tough cadet number 2, and I was supposed to say commandant on the floor 10 Hut. So I'm looking down the hall, and then I salute as the commandant comes through, and all Linwood Boomer, the creator, and all the director Todd Holland, and all the writers were there. It was, tiny room. There's felt like there was 100 people in there, and so I'm a little nervous, and I get ready, and I'm ready to go, and I look down the hallway, and I say, commandant on the floor 10 Hut, and I salute, but as I salute, I hit myself in the eye really hard, and I go, son of them! And I luckily stopped myself before I swore, but it was, there was a dude that was sitting, because there were so many people in there, he was sitting on the arm of the couch, and he fell off the couch because he was laughing so hard. They absolutely just pissed themselves laughing, and I'm convinced that's why I got that job, because I poked myself in the eye. So, all that training, all that work, all that strife, really, it was just a dumb luck. But yeah, that was a awesome way to start my career. And then I was lucky enough because I did that, which was basically a season and a half, and then went right into my first leading role as Haas Cartwright in a remake of Bonanza. So I mean, I got lucky off the bat for sure. And that took me to Australia. I was playing a cowboy in Australia, in the mountains of Australia, and I met my wife on that show. I mean, it was all in all, I can say I've lived a very charmed life in that regard. So it was a fun way to start.
Yeah. I know another credit when I was looking through your list of credits, another thing that you did, and it took me a second because I didn't realize that was you until and then I looked at, some more pictures, and I absolutely, it clicked that I remembered it. You were part of the revival of the Pee Wee Herman show on Broadway.
Yes. That's right.
I mean, I was a huge fan, I'm 35, so I was a fan of Pee Wee Herman growing up, and, I remember it. Yeah, I remember it originally from the show Out of the Groundlings that he did on HBO before it even became a TV series, and
oh wow, yeah,
and things like that. So I've been a fan for a long time. So I was very, very excited when I found out there was a revival that he was bringing it back, and especially to Broadway. I'm wondering what it was like to work with somebody like as legendary as I call him a legend just because that character has been around forever and everybody knows that character. But you played the character of Bear, and you also did the voice of Mr. Window. What was it like working with a legendary? What was it like working with a legendary character like Pee Wee Herman and Paul?
Yeah, it was. I think the best word for it is surreal, because there are a lot of moments I'm like, is this really happening? I mean, not only because of the as you say, the legendary character, but also it's just so bizarre. I mean, it's such a bizarre world. Like you said, I was and I was a mute dancing bear for 95% of the show. And then at the end, I take my head off, which was always my favorite part of the show because, inevitably we're towards the end of the show and people are, and then I come dancing out and I take my head off, and the gasps that would go through the audience, were always my favorite part. But it was great. I did, like I said, the voice of Mr. Window. I did Randy. I did the Flowers. Like, it was, that was a blast. But it was also, it was an experience like none other. Like, I'll never be able to replicate that experience. It was my Broadway debut. It was my first time living in New York, and every night I would go put on a bear suit and look at Pee Wee Herman through the big freaking nose, which is what I used to look out of. I mean, what the heck, man? Who does that? And the other thing was, the people that came to see that show, because it was, I don't know if you remember, but it was, the hottest show going. We only did for a 3-month run, so if you wanted to see it, you had to go quick. I mean, we did it for a month and a half or two in L.A., but, the people that you would say, Prince came to a show, and Paul Simon, and
wow.
Don Lasseter, and even Sondheim. The place was named after him, for crying out loud. One night, David Bowie and Iman came, and we're in the dressing room afterwards, and we're staring at them the way that their little kid was staring at us. It was just kind of bizarre experience. So, yeah, man, I'm glad I did it. It was a trip. No doubt. Yeah, I think even during the HBO special that had aired, I think like you could see like Kevin Kline in the audience and some other people. Daniel Radcliffe was there that night.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he came back afterwards, and we had a great conversation.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
And, it was really fun. And, it's funny. I was just talking to a buddy of mine, Joe Manganiello, who you probably know from like True Blood and the Magic Mike and stuff like that. And right now he's shooting Pee Wee's movie.
Oh, okay.
He's doing the Netflix one, right?
He's doing the Netflix movie, and it was funny because there's not many people that can identify with the experience of working with Pee Wee Herman, and we were able to actually swap stories and like, oh, really? What's it like for you? He said, and it's really true. He's like, it's like I'm somehow reliving my childhood 20 years later.
Yeah.
30 years later. Yeah, and it's true. It's definitely true.
Yeah, it's definitely not a conversation a lot of people can have.
That's right. Yeah, right.
And obviously, Pee Wee Herman's quite a different mood than Gotham is. So, you see from your background, you not only can you do drama, you can also do some comedy. And I noticed you also do a web series called Man Jam, which is like a little short web series that you do. Tell us a little bit about that, because I actually was able to check some of it out. It's really funny.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. That's look, in this business, you do jobs for money and you do jobs for fun, and this was pure fun. When I did the Ponderosa, the guy that played my brother was this guy Matt Carmody, and he's he and another guy named Boyd FICO, who's a great writer, one of Global Kale's top writers, and came up with this idea. Really, it was born out of literally us. We had a bunch of friends that would play in a band. My buddy has a man cave. He lives kind of down in like close to South Central LA, and we go down there and we play all night. And it was like these 30, 40 something guys getting together and playing, and it's like at some point someone said, "There's a show in this," and so Matt wrote it, and it's really funny. It's about the first season is about 6 episodes, 3-4 minute episodes each, and it was so much fun to do. We just had a blast, and we're writing some new ones now for another season. But you can check it out at manjamaseries.com, and it's really worth watching. It was it was a lot of fun, man. Yeah, especially because it was so close to real life. all the guys that are in the show are in the band, so it was like we had these weird moments. Of like, wait, did that happen in the series or in real life? Because it all seemed to blend together. And I think a lot of guys, you guys could probably identify with it on a certain level. It's what happens when guys, once guys stop, going to clubs every night and start trying to find other ways to have fun and there's a particular scene where the drummer, Vincent, his baby mama, as he calls it, comes in and throws a dirty diaper at him. She's played by Matt's wife, Sandra, who's really Jamaican. She's Vincent, your baby cracked the nappy again. As he's sitting behind the drums. And it's like, that's the life of a middle-aged man. Right there.
Yeah, I'm living that life right now. I have a 4.5-month.
There you go. So. Attaboy.
I know all too well. No, yeah, and I mean, I watched all 6, and it only took me like a half hour. So I mean, it's an easy watch, and it's definitely hilarious. And I mean, do you enjoy doing comedy more than drama, or about the same, or I mean, obviously, if you're doing comedy just for fun, I would feel like it's something that you probably enjoy the most.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I really thought when I came to town that would be my bread and butter, would be comedy. Big, loud guy that, likes to have fun and smile a lot. That's what I thought would be my thing. And I've gotten to do some great comedy stuff. But especially lately, I've done a lot of drama. And I've been asked this question before, and I think it's a very valid question. It's hard to come up with an answer. There are ways in which comedy is satisfying. You get a reaction. People think that something's funny and it's happy. I with Gotham, it's satisfying in a totally different way.
Right.
And I still get my aunts calling up and saying, "Well, when are you going to play a nice guy? We really don't like these mean guys." And I'm like, I know, it's okay. You don't have to watch, but I've grown to love that as well. I've grown to, Gotham is one of the most fun jobs I've ever had. So there's a real love for that particular, and that's a step above. I mean, that's a totally different, it's almost its own category,
right.
The whole comic book world / smart TV, show. But there's definitely pluses and minuses to both, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we're going to let you get going in a couple minutes here, but one more thing I just wanted to mention while we had you. I heard you're a record holder since birth. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if it still stands, but as the folklore tells it, when I was born in Noblesville, Indiana, I set the record. I was like 11 pounds when I was born, and like 24 inches, and yeah, they called me Baby Whale.
Was that a C-section or a natural?
Yeah, I don't know that there's a woman in the world that could give birth to a natural 11-pound baby. There probably is somewhere. God bless her.
I was just going to say, God bless her.
Either way, I give my mom love as much as I can, because that's a heck of a way to come to the world.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost relate. I didn't set any records, but I was 10 pounds, 2 ounces. And to my knowledge, I think I was natural. I think. I'm not sure.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now that I know what that really means. You know, you see the things in health class, but when you're in the moment and you're seeing what's going down, you know, the idea of, you know, my little boy was like 8 pounds. So I'm trying to, like, in my head, imagine,
an extra 3 pounds coming out.
3.5 pounds coming out, and I'm like, holy mackerel.
That's another half a baby at that point.
That's right. I know. You'd be pretty happy with that as a turkey. On Thanksgiving. Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah. Well, you know, and you're born in Central Indiana. That means, you know, the first thing they said was, well, is he going to play basketball or football? You know, that's all that anybody cared about. But that's the best thing about being an actor is I get to do it all. So yeah, it's a blessing.
Well, we're going to get ready to let you go. However, we just want to tell everybody, obviously remind everybody, the finale of Gotham airs this coming Monday, May 4th, 8 o'clock on Fox. So definitely we want everybody to check it out. And if they're not watching, they should be watching at this point and should just spend the weekend catching up on the show just because it's that good of a show. So,
excellent. I couldn't agree more, boys. And the finale is awesome. It's awesome. I'm biased, but trust me, it's awesome. It's action-packed. It's so fun.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. I mean, you work with an incredible cast too. I mean, you got Ben McKenzie and Robin Lord Taylor and
Donald Logue.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a great cast in this show.
Incredible.
You know,
incredible. And everybody is genuinely, they're genuinely good people. Like, you know, we get together, we raise a glass, and everybody just, you know, it's a decent, kind, good group of people. And I think anybody in any job, that's all you could really hope for.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to send people your way to follow you on Twitter as well, which you're at the Drew Powell. You also mentioned
not any Drew Powell,
the Drew Powell. That's right. The only Drew Powell you should be following is the Drew Powell on Twitter. Check out your Man Jam, manjamtheseries.com, which you had mentioned earlier. So we want to send people there as well, and of course to watch Gotham. Drew, thanks a lot. This has been great.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, man. Look forward to the next time.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more of the showcast. Stay tuned.